Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I want to talk about the inversion of care that has happened in American politics, and the inversion, we've had this inversion of care, and the Republicans are about to sign up for this inversion of care. All right, so let me explain what this inversion of care is and how Vivek Ramaswamy perfectly solves this problem and why he should be our next president. All right, so let's dig into this. Okay, so President Biden, right? He should protect me, right? I'm an American, right? Let's just call me a typical American, right? And I think from many perspectives, I am. I was born in this nation. I love this nation, I deserve care from the president. And that care is protection. First and foremost, he should protect me from the bullies of the world. Who are the bullies of the world? Right now, it's Vladimir Putin. And he's like, hey, we're going to be absolutely horrendous, monstrous people to Ukraine. You guys are going to watch. And if you do anything about it, if you put boots on the ground here, we're going to nuke you. Right? And so that's a very significant threat. And President Biden has not protected me from that in any way, right? He hasn't done anything real in Ukraine. He hasn't put boots on the ground in Ukraine and helped Ukraine win that war, and put Vladimir Putin in prison and split up all the Russian land between America and Ukraine. That would solve the problem. I would be protected, right? I would be cared for, right? Not getting that from President Biden, right? The other thing is he's an 80-year-old president, which is exactly what President Trump is going to be, an 80-year-old president. And right now, we protect and care for the American people protect and care for President Joseph Biden more than he protects and cares for us, right? So where do we do this? Well, one, because every single thing a president does now today is put on camera. Every time he chips over wires, I'm like, oh my gosh, those Secret Service need to pick him up and make sure that he didn't break a hip, right? Falling over a microphone, literally he makes speeches constantly, right? Or a president should make speeches constantly. So we protect him by not sending him into places where he would make speeches, right? That's outrageous. So I'm going to go ding when the problem that President Joseph Biden has, President Donald Trump will have, because he's another 80-year-old president. It's not a Joseph Biden problem. It's an 80-year-old president problem. So ding, literally microphone wires, right? The greatest threat to an 80-year-old president is microphone wires. Oh my gosh, did you fall over and just snap half the bones in your body, right? Because you fell and you're 80 years old, and every bone in your body is super fragile because you're 80 years old. Not because there's nothing, President Joseph Biden and President Donald Trump have not done anything wrong but age, right? But the reality is, I'm tired of needing to protect my president from microphone wires. I'm tired of being to care for my president, make sure that he doesn't encounter microphone wires, right? Whereas Vivek Ramaswamy, he's going to jump right over those microphone wires, and if he needs to, he's going to do a tuck and roll and jump up and put up his hands and do jazz hands for the entertainment of the group, because microphone wires are not something I need to protect that president from, right? And so, the other one is with President Donald Trump, we would need to protect him from indictment. He has so many legal kerfuffles from his own actions. Actually, you know what? I don't need to say that. I think a lot of these. No, I'm not even going to add that. I think a lot. I would say half of the indictment problems President Trump has are real, and half are completely trumped up by the Democrat Party, right? But we would need to protect and care for the president to make sure he's indicted and sent to jail, right? Vivek Ramaswamy, we don't need to protect him and care for him in that, because he's not he hasn't that's a good question. He hasn't created a world where people want to indict him constantly, right? And and actually, I think Donald Trump, he's an incredibly interesting president. My take on Donald Trump from the presidency's perspective is he's very interesting in that I was tremendously benefited from Donald Trump, and I desperately wish to live in a Donald Trump type era again. I would like, houses to be affordable. I would like milk to be affordable, right? All that was completely affordable under Donald Trump, right? But I can never. But no moral person can vote for Donald Trump. He's a repugnant monster human. Period. It's just there's no way around that. Like if you simply read The Art of the Deal, you walk away from that saying this person lies constantly as a tool on purpose. People who lie constantly on purpose as a tool are repugnant monster humans. Words coming out of your mouth should mean something, and if they don't, you have no business near leadership. Period. End of sentence. If people can't trust the words that come out of your mouth, you have no business near leadership. You are a monster human, and you should be kept out of leadership. Right? Word is bond. Truth is meaningful. Honesty is necessary in leadership. And if you lie constantly, you have no business near leadership. And it is not a debate on whether Donald Trump is a habitual liar. He wrote it in a book he published 10 years before he became president. This isn't like me saying, accusing him of something. It's on record, right? So I really think, so we would need to protect Donald Trump from microphone wires. We would need to protect Donald Trump from indictment, right? And the thing is, I'm tired of protecting the president. I want the president to protect me, right? There's real danger in this world, and I need a president who's intellectually agile, focused, and swift, right? And I can tell you right now, I don't need to tell you right now. Ask anyone who understands science, and they will tell you when you need an intellectual who is focused, swift, and agile, you're not going to go find an 80-year-old person. It's just not the way it works because we age and we lose capacity as we age. And both the Republicans and the Democrats for a long time have said, hey, can we all agree to live by science, right? And I agree with that, right? And so the reality is this is an extremely difficult job, and I'm tired of protecting the president. I want the president to protect me, right? And that means I need a president who is capable, right? And, intellectually fully capable, right? Not and again, right, that's another one. Biden, we have to protect him from reporters who might ask him difficult questions because then he has to finish a paragraph. It's going to be exactly the same with Donald Trump. Is he able to finish a paragraph, right? At 80 years old, watching people every day, who are going to ask you questions that will require you to be focused, swift, and agile as an intellectual is unfair, right? And I don't want to protect my president from reporters. I don't want to protect my president from microphone wires. I don't want to protect my president from indictment. So from those perspectives, Vivek Ramaswamy doesn't need any protection. He is perfectly protected. He is perfectly provisioned. He is perfectly ready to protect us as Americans. We need to invert this, right? Right now, because we're insisting on electing 80-year-old presidents, America isn't put in a position to protect their president. I don't want to protect my president anymore. I want my president to protect me, right? Vivek Ramaswamy has an infrastructure for that, right? He has all the attributes to protect us, rather than us spending our time protecting him, right? Let's invert care. Let's invert protection in the 2024 presidential race and elect Vivek Ramaswamy over a much, much worse candidate who has no business anywhere near leadership, which is Donald Trump. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. I'm eager to hear your humble opinion. Let me know in the comments. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.